Okay, so we're putting that together.
This chair is manufactured by the Bear Chair Company based in South River, Ontario, Canada, and it's available at Costco. We chose this chair as it's more upright than the traditional Adirondack, which makes it easier to get out of. It is made of white pine, harvested right here in Ontario, and it's reasonably priced. Our model is the BC420P Upright Muskoka Chair. Having assembled a half dozen of these chairs now, and read reviews and comments from others, I too made some mistakes during the assembly and wanted a little more detail than what was provided. I'll share some tips that might answer your questions. Let's get started. The Bear Chair Company provides an excellent parts list and description, as well as an easy-to-follow 12-step assembly process, and a link to Northern Chris assembling the chair. Both this printed material and the video are excellent. After you have identified all of the parts and separated your 56 short screws from your 10 long screws, we go straight to step 1, parts number 9 and 11, the bottom back support and the top back support. Having assembled a few of these now, I mark 2 parallel lines on my work surface. You will notice I have the countersunk holes facing the camera. I then clamped the bottom back support to the work surface. These 2 lines are the reference lines that I can use during assembly to ensure that as I build the chair back, steps 1 and 2, I will build it straight. Here's the top back support. Notice the countersunk holes are facing the camera. I don't clamp this piece down. I have centered it between the lines, but I'm leaving it loose to make minute adjustments during assembly. Here are parts number 10, the back slats. With the countersunk holes facing up, place them in the correct location. Although I will do the final sanding after assembly and before adding stain, I'm going to do a quick sanding with 120 grit sandpaper along the edges of the material, especially in areas that will be hard to reach after assembly. To speed this process up, I clamp my sander to the vise to make it a stationary sander, and then quickly work the edges of the pieces to be assembled. Throughout this video, I always sand edges prior to assembly, even if I don't show it. This is just to save time. I touched each piece with 120 grit sandpaper first. And just a reminder everyone, this is white pine. It's a softwood, so be gentle with the sander. So back to step number 2. I first removed the 4 center back slats, placing 2 on each side of my work area. I then placed 2 screws, number 15, the short screws, in the bottom end of the 2 outside back slats. You can see very clearly here that Bear Chair Company has made a little tiny mark that locates where these first 2 screws are to go.
This one here is less important. I'll explain why in a minute. Here's your starting point, and your second one is over here.
Now, the plans call for white glue or carpenter's glue here. If you look closely, you'll see that I'm using PL construction adhesive. Well, at this point, I'd already built a few of these units and I just ran out of glue. So rather than running to the store, I grabbed a half-full tube of construction adhesive to keep going. I'm not encouraging the use of construction adhesive for this project. I recommend carpenter's glue. PL construction adhesive is extremely strong in shear and tensile. It is also superior at gap filling.
Clutch on the gun is set to 4.
Standard carpenter's glue has some qualities that are better suited for assembling these chairs as well, namely sandability, painting, and staining.
I have this piece here centered between this line and the other line. Just sort of bring that to the end, and I have this board centered this way on this hole. I'm It's just about flush there, fairly flush. So again, I'm not looking for the hole on the other side right now. I'm just bringing it up flush. Clutch set at 4. Plug it up a little bit.
Then I just completed the process on the other side. With the 2 outside pieces attached and the top back support centered between the 2 parallel lines, I place the 4 center slats. Here I take some time, making the spaces as equal as possible. After I have them positioned where I like them, I remove one board, being careful not to bump the others. Add some adhesive and carefully place it back where it belongs. I don't secure it yet. One of the advantages of PL construction adhesive is it holds the piece where I place it. This is extremely handy during the assembly process. Once all the slats have adhesive and have been placed back where they belong, I drive the screws home. Number 15, short screws. With the top even and secure, which is the most visible part, I move to the bottom. Same process. Again, all final tightening is with a screwdriver. Time to wipe off the excess adhesive. I keep a wet rag in a bucket of water and it makes an easy job of this. These wiped areas will be sanded lightly prior to staining to ensure the wood accepts the stain. Alright, another chair back is complete. On to step 4, legs and sides, and 8 number 15 short screws. Here you want to match the R to the R, right to right. You also want to make sure that the side with all of the cuts in it are facing towards the leg with the 2 countersunk holes. Your reference line is here. Like before, I'm going to put the screws in first. This allows me to easily align the pieces, ensuring that my screws line up perfectly with the screw holes.
See the line right here? So it's lined up perfectly. Clutch is still set at 3 or 4. Drive it home.
With both sides done, on to step number 5. Need part number 12, the front slat, and 4 number 14 screws, the long ones. 2 people are handy here. Now, if I didn't have help, I would have clamped one of the pieces to the work surface.
That was a mistake we made last time. We had legs have to be on the out. That is upside down, isn't it? There you go. Legs have to be on the outside.
Little bit of cleanup. On to step 6. We're almost half done. Here we are going to attach the seat back to the sides.
All right.
Here I used a clamp to secure the back to the sides while I drove the screw. I actually left these clamps in place until step 9, where the rear legs are installed. The clamps just provide some extra support until the rear legs are in place, where they'll do the same thing. On to step 7, installing the comfort slat. Like before, I lightly sanded the comfort slat. I also sanded the seat slats and the rear arm support prior to installation. Back to step 7, installing the comfort slat. A little adhesive and then place it right at the back of the seat. This is followed immediately by step 8, the installation of the seat slats. The comfort slat and the seat slats are all installed with number 14 screws, the short ones. After having built a few of these, we found that if we simply use a couple of pencils as spacers, we don't need to do any eyeballing. The thickness of the pencil is just perfect. Quick little simple tip. With the seat slats installed, onto the rear legs. Now here is an area where I departed from what I've seen others do. This seems to be an area of confusion. Part number 7, the strut supports, are not designed to reach the ground. They are designed to attach to the sides, part number 8, as well as the rear legs, part number 16. But the rear legs, part number 16, and the sides, part number 8, are what determine the exact height of the back of the chair. The struts, part number 7, are there to provide the necessary support. Now, when you look at this diagram, this is not made clear. Now, it would appear that the struts, part number 7, go right down to the ground, and the rear legs, part number 16, just fill in the bottom area. This becomes even more evident when you read people's comments where they've assembled these chairs. The back legs don't fit. The larger block is about an inch too long, so I had to cut it off with a chop saw.
I assembled one a week ago. The hardest part I found was adding the back legs.
This is why I strayed away from what I've seen others do in the video. Setting the chair aside, I attached the rear leg, part number 16, to the struts, part number 7. I did this first, and I didn't make them flush. Now, not to confuse anyone here, but I'm making multiple chairs right now, all at the same time. So right now, I'm making a bunch of left rear legs. I found that if I extended the rear legs about a ½ inch, the parts all fit together perfectly. Now, I have a scrap piece of ½ inch drywall that I'm using as my spacer gauge. I'm then marking the fit with a pencil and placing an X on both pieces so I don't accidentally glue them together backwards, which I've already done. I am extending the rear leg a ½ inch past the bottom of the strut. Later, I tried 5/8 of an inch, and that worked equally well. If you don't want to risk this move yourself, just clamp the pieces together first, and then fit the assembled piece to your chair and see what you think. Once again, I'm using the drywall as my spacer to ensure I have the height right. With those legs assembled, I now move back to the chair.
Okay, so this would be this side. Yep. Let's see how it works. All right, underneath the leg, up in here. All right, this one, underneath the leg, up in there. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I'll clamp this side in place and use it as our support. It's pretty good to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is perfect.
Number 14, longer screw, is used here. On to step number 10, installing the triangles, part number 4, and the arm supports, part number 3. These two screws, the silver ones, are the longer screws, part number 14. They go into part number 1, the front legs. With the arm supports in place, on to step 11, the installation of the arms.
Okay, so let's just show this here for a minute. So this is tight here, which is nice. We're on step 11, and we're going to be gluing and screwing that first. And you can see how there's always a little bit of distortion. So we'll tighten that up first before we bring this over and center it. ish. A little bit too much glue here.
With both arms attached, on to step number 12, attaching the rear arm support, part number 6.
Step 12, rear arm support. So we're holding the rear arm support in place, and I'm just marking the back here with a pencil and the shoulder. So some glue right along here and along the screw face, and of course the beveled on the backside.
Okay, this is assembled. Let's move on to sanding and staining.
It's what?
I can't wait to sit in these at the dock.
Yeah, no, it's they're wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Okay.
I think we should put them in the living room.
The stain we use, one of our favorites, is Minwax Polyshade Satin Pecan. We have used this on spruce, cedar, pine. It makes everything better. Love it. Highly recommend it. We applied 2 coats over a 2-day period. The finished product is stunning. At a fraction of the cost of an assembled pre-finished chair, reasonably priced, easy to assemble, I highly recommend this product. Hey, thanks for watching. Cheers.